but you ain't got a leg to stand on. You sitting up there getting busting. Let me be crude. Busting a nut behind looking at Fidel and Shay. And that's how you get off sexually. Ooh, man, you talking about freak.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast, and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts, and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring, and George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil, chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
This year, when they go to the ballot, repeatedly rejecting MAGA extremism.
Come on. Hyperbole. You're exaggerating. You're selling wolf tickets, boy. I could see it if it was a fine chick, but they getting off on Fidel and Shay. Now, remember the other accusations about that homosexual stuff that's going on up in there too? And the dudes that are talking about Diddy trying to make a move on them. Oh, man.
Well, bagels, for all your catering needs, give them a call, 718-333-WILD, and have your food delivered to you. They make a slamming breakfast, I tell you. I had the bacon, egg, and cheese on the plain bagel, the salt and pepper, everything just right. So the number to call is 718-333-WILD, or you could visit them in person, 1901 Stillwell Avenue, here in beautiful Brooklyn, New York. We got a few things to cover before we get on the main source here. And first thing we're going to do is give a shout out and congratulations to our soon-to-be conference champion New York Knicks. They move on to the conference finals, defeating, crippling, crushing, and destroying the Boston Celtics. And I called it. I told you weeks ago, Knicks in 6, and here we are, Knicks in 6. The Knicks crushed the Boston Celtics. Bring on them Pacers. Reggie Miller's long retired. These Knicks got your number. You latter-day, modernized, tofu-eating, woke Indiana Pacers, you. Now, on to the next thing. A man who was formerly America's top cop, James Comey. This is a person that gave Hillary a stern scolding in public, but did nothing to put Hillary Clinton in jail for things she belonged in jail for. The servers, the emails, the destroyed smartphones, the hammered up flip phones, whatever she destroyed, all possibly contained evidence that she did not give a flying shit about human life at Benghazi. So he was very lenient, way too lenient towards Hillary Clinton, He used all kinds of lawfare to get a war hero, a decorated military veteran and general, Michael Flynn, unjustifiably thrown in jail. And see, and my cat was disgusted by it. She had to run off the frame as I told this story. So he was responsible for these sort of things. Eventually, Donald Trump fires him. Christopher Wray is his successor. Christopher Wray, of course, stayed on until Trump got elected president again, bailed out, and that's Lily. She's cute. Anyway, that's Mittens. He's also cute. But anyway, of course, Christopher Wray bails out when Donald Trump becomes president. Now we got Kash Patel looking into James Comey. And it's what James Comey did recently. He's over there like a silly-nilly teenage girl Instagram influencer putting up a post of seashells arranged in a way where it says 8647. Of course, in the Air Force, when they say to 86 an enemy plane, that means to shoot it down in hopes of killing the pilot. When they say in restaurants to 86 a menu item, that means to scratch it off, wipe it out as if it never existed, or to eject a patron from the restaurant, or to eject a patron from a movie theater. 86 is a code word to remove or kill someone. The mob breaks it down in 2 different digits. Take them 8 miles out of town, put them 6 feet under ground. 8 miles out of town, 6 feet underground. 86, 86. 47, of course, means that Donald Trump is the 47th president of the United States. He puts that up and he's trying to play innocent like he had no idea this meant violence. Dude, it was your job to figure out what codes mean violence. Okay? You're probably going to be one of those idiots that deny that the marijuana plant, the smiley face, the cross, and the skull mean MS-13. You silly clown. And I'm glad Kash Patel is going to investigate you. I'm glad Secret Service is sending agents to ask you some questions now. What you put up on your post is disgusting. It's a cry. It's a cry to the Daniel Crooks of the world and the Ryan Rouths of the world to lock and load on the President of the United States. You, James Comey, have a seething hatred for Donald Trump and a bloodlust to envision Donald Trump, blood, brains, and guts all over the kitchen cabinets. This is obviously your fantasy. That's why you actively went out to the beach, found all these different colored shells to call for someone out there reading your posts to take the President of the United States, Donald Trump, 8 miles out of town and put him 6 feet under. You, James Comey, former FBI director that left in disgrace when fired by Donald Trump, are despicable, disgraceful, and disgusting. And this isn't even the meat of this MC Tutor show. The big fish we're reeling in is Hakeem Jeffreys. So we're going to move on to that. Okay? Hakeem Jeffreys has been implicated as being part of the Diddy parties. And here comes a real freakish twist to it. As you saw at the beginning of the broadcast, shout out to the Real Dana channel. No relation to Dana Lash, who I religiously follow on the First TV and watch our show daily. This Dana has Judge Joe Brown as a co-host with her on her broadcasts on YouTube. And she and Joe Brown are talking about Hakeem Jeffreys. And as I was saying, he wasn't in just any kind of Diddy party. Not just any kind of wild sex party with the baby oil and all that happy horse shit. He was part of a sex party where they cosplay as revolutionary communist figures in history. They dress up as historical figures, historical communist figures. Like, let's say, somebody will come in dressed as Vladimir Lenin, somebody will come in dressed as Stalin, somebody will come in dressed as Mao, or what have you. And they'll dress up as Fidel Castro or Che Guevara. And this is quite disgusting. This makes it that much more disgusting. You love communists so much that you have sexual fantasies about it and cosplay into these sex parties depicting communist historical figures having sex. This is how you get off. You sick freak. And what's really scary, America, what's really scary, this is a man who is in a position to cast votes deciding the fate of America's future. And like James Comey, Hakeem Jeffreys is despicable, disgraceful, and disgusting. Hakeem Jeffreys is puke. He is utter puke. He's somebody who I have to really restrain from spitting on the ground every time his name is mentioned. Now, don't get into the freaking Julio down by the schoolyard lyrics just because I said that. Yeah, don't be stupid and take me off track. Now, this man is a sick freak. This man has the gall to call anybody who's MAGA a fanatic or a radical. I don't go to sex parties dressed as Ronald Reagan. I don't go to sex parties at all. I'm not that kind of a sick freak like Hakeem Jeffreys. And I certainly wouldn't go dressed as like Ronald Reagan or Richard Nixon or Donald Trump or Michael Flynn or Tucker Carlson. I wouldn't be going there dressed as these people, and I wouldn't be going there at all, period. Why? Because, again, I'm not a sick freak. I'm not immoral scum like Hakeem Jeffreys. There are so many levels of hell where the left belong. They champion debauchery. I'm sorry, but when there's an entire movement that champions itself on debauchery, that's of the devil, folks. That is of the devil. Man for woman, woman for man, God good, Satan bad. Don't you ever forget it. And without God, there'd be no atheists. Just remember that. And people need to start crediting God and thanking God for life itself. Start appreciating God and stop doing things that go against God. Debauchery and communism go against God. They clearly go against God. God is not a communist. Jesus Christ was not a communist. Communism goes against God, and debauchery goes against God. So what do you think the two put together would do? It's not a double negative makes a positive in this case. It's a clear sign that you want to spend eternity chained to the lake of fire. I urge you people that go to these sex parties dressed as communists to take off the getup, put on normal clothes, get out of the sex party, go to church and find God, you fucking sinners. Hakeem Jeffreys needs to get dragged out of chambers in the middle of session in cuffs. Same thing goes for people in the Senate like Adam Schiff. Same thing goes for people like Elizabeth Warren who take farmer money. Same thing goes for people like Chuck Schumer who called for the death and destruction of Supreme Court justices. Same thing should go for disgraced former FBI man James Comey, who literally made a cry out to all those blue-haired fanatics out there who want to kill Donald Trump anyway. That post was a nod and a go-ahead that you have James Comey's permission to do this. But here's the thing that supersedes James Comey's permission. The law. Anybody who attempts to assassinate the President of the United States belongs either jailed, like Ryan Routh, or neutralized, like Daniel Crooks there. I'm telling you, we're in some scary, scary times where people can openly call for the death of the President of the United States, where we have seated members of Congress not just going to kinky sex parties, but going to kinky sex parties dressed as known communists who are now dead and rightfully so. And not just that, it can't be ruled out that there were minors involved with this, teenagers, adolescent boys, dressed as their favorite communist leader. Imagine how sick you gotta be to pick out, a 16-year-old boy or 15-year-old boy, put a Karl Marx mask on his face, and then get into rough anal sex with him. How sick do you gotta be? That's a child. You son of a bitch, you sicko. It can't be ruled out that Hakeem Jeffries may have done something like that. Because we don't have the evidence out there. We can't say for sure. But it can't be ruled out. That alone should set off some bells and whistles in the head. There's something wrong with this. This isn't benign. This isn't some thing you could look up and down and say, oh, that's no big deal. We have a person in Congress who is the congressional minority leader. This person basically took the place of Nancy Pelosi. And Nancy Pelosi put her own issues with her inside trading and her visible symptoms of alcoholism for all the world to see. She's got her own issues. But this man, Hakeem Jeffries, is banging dudes that have communist leader masks on. There's something wrong with that. If they're fetishizing communism, then what direction do they have in mind for this country to go in? And is it a direction you want this country to go in? Boy, oh boy. The more answers we find, the more questions we have. And on to the I Say. This concludes this episode of the MC Too Tall Show. And remember, respect God, watch out for the Illuminati. Tell all your friends about me, stay strong, keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building, hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, MC Too Tall.